Phasers on step.
We would like to welcome you to Audio Suplex Live, Episode 6, brought to you by the Nerd Complex Podcast Network. Oh, wow. We're a little bit feisty. How's it going, guys? I am your host, Heel Corey, and as always, my co-host, Mr. Dr. T. Travis.
What's up, brother?
How's it going?
Good. We're glad to have you back from the mighty West Coast.
I'm back. We have actually two additional hosts, I guess, co-hosts.
A couple two sweets over here. One for Shawn.
We got Shawn and Mike.
What up?
Which, if you've ever listened, they have both been on the show before, so nothing new here.
Listen, I love you guys to death. I like to think of you guys. So if Corey and I are Hall and Nash,
we're definitely Hall and Nash.
We're the outsiders.
Yeah, we're definitely Hall and Nash.
You guys are kind of, I don't want to see even like NWO B team or like NWO Japan, but you guys are like, you know, like Buff Bagwell and Scott Norton.
Oh my god.
You guys are like,
wow.
Oh, that was pretty horrible.
No.
I was sitting here trying to think of who would two examples that would be terrible would be, and you crushed it. You did a good job.
Out of the park.
You did a good job.
Scott Norton, man. I watched, what did I watch with him the other day?
He's trying to clean it up.
Probably your local Kroger's bagging groceries.
Had a hell of a career in Japan after WCW was said and done. He was in the New Japan Rumble this past year.
Wow,
Good for him.
Yeah, he's going places.
Going places, man. So how was California, Corey?
Warm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very warm. It was exciting.
You hit Cali. You hit Las Vegas.
Viva Las Vegas.
No, there's an infamous wrestling sports store out in Las Vegas that sells like MMA merch.
Yeah,
did you go to that?
No, I did think about. I remember.
What's it called? I can't remember. Fight Shop or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds right. Fight Shop sounds right.
Something to that effect.
They have a whole section of wrestling crap that I really wanted to check out, and I forgot about it until you just said it.
Because they sell a lot more than just like WWE gear,
right?
Which is what you can normally find at stores, but you could probably want to get like Kenny Omega shirts and.
I would have probably bought. Well, yeah, that would have been cool to do.
You're buying.
Thanks for reminding me.
Real quick, you're buying a T-shirt for one person not signed to WWE. Go.
Probably Kenny Omega, but thanks for putting me on the spot.
Yeah,
Kenny Omega. Let's just do it.
That's what I'm here for. So how you guys doing today?
Doing good. Good.
Living a dream.
Amen to that.
Oh, hey, Travis, by the way, have I told you recently I told you so?
We'll get that in a second. Jeez, you
I'm
get,
just saying.
You get two more times with that. So, as Shawn's alluding to, we're going to recap WWE Fastlane was this past Sunday. We're going to recap that and go over all of our picks and what we thought of the show.
Yeah, let's see how we did.
I did horribly.
Yeah.
We got a
Sucked
little
at that.
We got a little bit of trivia lined up as well. Just kind of
Brainbuster Trivia is going to close out the show,
making its triumphant return.
Right, and there is a prize this week, so that's a good.
Give
noise.
Daddy the ducats.
That should be a soundbite. That I don't know.
But to start us off, we're going to do a little bit of news. Joe, crush it.
It's the news.
Oh, goodness. All right, cool.
Travis, what's in the news this week?
Couple light bits of news. Not a lot going on in the world of professional wrestling this week, but a couple things we want to talk about. First and foremost, the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2017 just got a bit more ravishing.
Ooh.
Finally, after a long... it's funny, it's like a lot of people even said online that they thought Rick Rude was already in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I was one of them. I was shocked by this inductee. Not so much that he got in, but I thought he was already there.
Right. So, announced by Bleacher Report on Monday, March 6th, was actually kind of like the thing. WWE's been leaking these news
to different sources.
Yeah, I believe Beth Phoenix was to USA Today, and then Fox. I think Fox is the one who broke Kurt Angle.
Fox News had Kurt Angle,
which checks out on so many levels. But yeah, so announced on Monday by Bleacher Report, ravishing Rick Rude is already joining what is probably the most stacked Hall of Fame class in quite some time.
I would say it's got to be up there as part of as one of the best classes. Thus far.
So we've got Kurt Angle going in. We've got the Rock and Roll Express. We've got Beth Phoenix. We've got ravishing Rick Rude. We have Teddy Long. Am I forgetting anybody?
Probably.
Yeah. Well, it's such a stacked class, man. I can't name everybody, but just a little bit of brief background on Rick Rude, even though I don't think we need it. But it was a major draw for the WWE in the late 1980s. having memorable feuds with Jake the Snake Roberts, including a moment that saw Rick Rude have a picture of Jake Roberts' wife on his trunks, which is a
beautiful.
Very boss.
classic. That's a classic boss move.
Very boss.
Stayed with the company till 1990, even picking up an Intercontinental Championship win off the Ultimate Warrior during his time with WWE. Went on to WCW, where he was the leader of the Dangerous Alliance. This is something I didn't know actually about his career, which is a famous stable including Paulie Dangerously, Medusa, Arn Anderson, Larry Zbyszko, Stunning Steve Austin, Bobby Eaton, and actually won the United States Championship from Sting while he was in WCW and had a memorable feud with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat in WCW, which is who is going to be doing the induction.
Him,
yeah,
yes.
Ricky the Dragon. So
Yes.
after a brief stint, or after his stay in WCW, he went back to WWE after a brief stint in ECW in 1997 and was one of the founding members of Degeneration X as the insurance policy, the inaugural lineup, which
Founding member, yeah.
was Triple H, Chyna, Shawn Michaels, and Rick Rude.
Yep.
Left the WWE shortly after because of the Montreal Screwjob, which led to one of the most interesting moments in professional wrestling history.
Yeah, very interesting bit of trivial
Yeah.
knowledge here.
So back in the late 90s, WWF at the time, or WWE Raw, was a pre-taped show and aired every Monday. Because of that, he was able to appear on Raw with a full beard, as a member of DX, left the next week and was on the live taping of Nitro, the live show of Nitro the next week with just a mustache.
Yeah.
Cut a promo on Bret Hart and not Bret Hart, but the Shawn Michaels and WWF at the time and stuff like that. And
It gets more interesting. He was also on an episode of ECW that week.
yes.
So he was on 3 different promotions.
You could not watch wrestling that week in 1997 and not see Rick Rude somewhere.
He was there.
But yeah, ended up back in WCW, was a member of the NWO, and is actually the first person to be a member of both DX and the NWO.
That's true.
There were other people who went on to do both. Obviously, Six or X-Pac, Sean Waltman was in both, and then Shawn Michaels technically was in the WWE NWO. Yeah, so
Cringe.
doesn't count, but yeah, so goes without saying, he doesn't really have the championship accolades that a lot of guys have, but if you look at his impact on the business in general and as a whole, the character's, remarkable. Like,
I feel he's one of those ones, along with Ted DiBiase, that never won the title in WWE or WWF, but should have.
yeah. There was talks about him winning I believe it was the WCW. He feuded for the WCW title with Ron Simmons, but was never actually able to capture it.
Did he never
so.
actually win that either?
Never won.
I seem to feel like he won the WCW title at one point.
I don't believe so.
Yeah,
No,
no.
I could be wrong, but I feel like
as far as I know, he's never won the big one.
Yeah.
in
I can look it up real quick, but talk about Rick
Just
Rude.
have one word
for
for that. Damn.
Actually, Rick Rude was involved in my first ever time I was aware of WCW was when I was little. They were showing Clash of the Champions, and it was right in the middle of the whole Rick Rude and Sting feud, where they had Medusa, I believe, come out in this like kind of belly dancer looking thing and was entrancing distracted Sting, and Rick Rude took out Sting's knee, and Sting it hurt his knee, and
Is that when he
I
won
think
the US title?
that might actually be when he won the U.S. title
That would
that
make
night
sense.
too.
Yeah. So he looks like so in WWE he won the Intercontinental Championship once. He was in the Hall of Fame obviously now at this point, and one-time Slammy Award winner for the Jesse the Body Award in 1987. And in WCW had the WCW International World Heavyweight Championship, whatever that one was. I've never heard of that belt before. United States
You've never
Champion.
heard of that?
No.
It's one of the most prestigious belts WCW had.
Where would you put
First-
it with like the TV belt?
Oh,
For some reason, I think at the
above
point
the heavyweight belt.
Whoa.
I
it's
think
got more words.
actually at one point, that title was what went on to be the world title, and they had another
Oh.
actual world title.
I think you're right.
That's
Yeah, it does look like it
insane.
has some lineage with that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Jeez,
But
what do you-
anyway.
act like you never read the internet before.
Apparently. Rick Rude stayed with WCW until 1999, and later that year, unfortunately, he did pass away at the age of 40, leaving a huge impact on the wrestling
Yeah.
industry. Just growing up in the Attitude Era, especially like watching WWF and watching DX, like that was my first introduction to Rick Rude, but then going back and watching his stuff in the 80s and with the Jake the Snake feud,
Right.
and, calling people sweat hogs.
Yeah, he was actually training to come back to wrestling when he passed away. He's only 40 years old, I believe.
Yeah.
So a young guy still.
Unfortunately, we'll never
Potentially.
know what would have been, but,
I think Rick Rude and the $1 Million Man both just were one of those people, like, growing up, obviously you didn't really like them. And then now as a wrestling fan, and now that I'm older, going back and watching their stuff, they're two wrestlers that I can go back now and watch and appreciate, the heel work that they did just because of how good they were for their era.
I mean, come on, putting Jake's wife on the trunks.
That's pretty boss.
My God, ain't nobody doing that today.
No, sir.
That's true boss stuff. That's unreal.
Times have changed.
Yeah, well,
Times have changed. What else we got on the news docket here?
So we talked a little bit last week about the Hardys leaving Impact Wrestling and trying to kind of see what the other options were for them out there. Was a lot of speculation that they would be heading to WWE.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of a pit stop on the way to the potentially
Fast lane
WWE.
to the roadblock is what he said.
As news was broken by Dave Meltzer that after the ROH show that they appeared at over the weekend in the Manhattan Mayhem, that the Hardys are now officially signed to Ring of Honor.
Yeah. And it's probably going to be at least a year contract. I would guess.
Meltzer says that the deal goes all the way at least until May. So at least up until that point, but it's speculated that it might be end up being longer than that.
Yeah.
So they immediately came to, spoiler alert if you haven't watched anything on the internet this past week, tag team champions in ROH immediately beating the Young Bucks in their first night in the company. So
I think they currently hold like 8 or 9 tag championship belts around the world.
Some of them are,
Well, one of them is like their own promotions tag team belt,
what's
where,
the Omega?
Yeah, they've defended it like one time in the last couple of years.
I used to actually have, when Omega was a thing before they got signed to the WWE, I used to have one of their tapes from one of their shows. Yeah, I used to be super into like tape trading and stuff like that, and then it was a big Hardy mark growing up. So
what a nerd!
Yeah, kind of wanted to make sure I had that one on tape. So I remember it not being a very good show. But
Yeah, well,
anyway.
expect.
Ultimately, I feel this is better for them to go to ROH as opposed to WWE, just because
What's $1 million?
Well, not even just so much the money, but we even talked about it. Like, are they gonna actually let the Hardys do the
big
broken
thing.
Hardy gimmick in the WWE? Because most of the fans, like Travis brought up,
They will.
that
They probably
know
won't give
them
them
don't.
control, but they'll let them do the Hardy gimmick. They want that Hardy gimmick.
Yeah,
WWE is really
They need it.
They
That's
like
what I said.
taking.
I just don't know if
they
WWE
like taking
knows how to
gimmicks.
present that the way that it needs to be presented.
I agree too.
You kind of have to let them have a little bit of control over the character if you're going to let them do it, because that's what's really gotten that character
steam.
over. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
So, kind of interesting because it does give them creative freedom to still do indie dates, which kind of continues this whole narrative of them going to indie feds and taking up all the gold and everything. And, but yeah, do you guys see this as maybe like a long-term idea, or do you think it's maybe just like a pit stop on the way to WWE?
it would have to be a pit stop. I mean, they want to end. Jeff has said multiple times he wants to end his career in WWE.
Yeah.
I don't know necessarily.
I feel
Matt
like maybe
feels
for
that.
right now it's a pit stop, and then maybe they come back right around the time.
Maybe
I'm sure
next
they'll
year.
they'll get into the Hall of Fame at some point.
Oh, yeah.
just
without-
because it's hard
for
to keep them
sure.
out of that. So maybe just around the time that they're ready to put them in.
And when
I
we've-
hope, and hopefully it won't be that long, but
We've seen people with worse relationships with
Yeah.
the company come back and get into the Hall of Fame or get recognized for their, Macho Man was gone for years and years, and same with the Ultimate Warrior. Like, they were like,
I mean, I think the Ultimate
what
Warrior
would
probably
you-
had the worst relationship anybody could have
Yeah, I
with
mean,
the
they-
WWE.
they basically made a DVD that was an entire middle finger to him. Like,
I have that DVD, as a matter of fact.
it's rough.
It is.
So Hardy's and ROH. I think it's kind of cool. I think it's
It'll be good.
delaying the inevitable. They will be back in WWE, but
Maybe this will give them a chance to kind of tone it down a little bit,
Right.
To be able to kind of fit into the WWE a little bit better.
right. So next little bit of news. Did either of you guys watch, or any of you guys watch Talking Smack on Tuesday?
Of course,
Yeah.
Yes.
of course.
So, an interesting little tidbit on that was the thing about Talking Smack, and I'm sure you guys know this. It's a weird combination of like work and shoot in terms
It
of
really
like
is.
It's
It's
like
like
they're real loose.
It's really like kind of borderline. Like sometimes they kayfabe, and other times they
Yeah.
like completely like
It's
just
weird.
it's crazy how much they kind of pull back the curtain on that show and kind of let them go into it. And sometimes I find myself sitting there watching like, wow, are they really letting them talk about this
Right.
on this show? And it's done gangbusters for a lot of guys, especially notably The Miz, which brings me to this story right here. They're doing a work shoot promo with The Miz and Daniel Bryan, and during that, Daniel Bryan says something to the effect of, because The Miz basically says that he can't wrestle because he hurt his head or whatever, and Dan Bryan retorts with something to the effect of, come back in a year and a half and we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Thus alluding to the idea that once his WWE contract is up, he may be pursuing a career outside of WWE again. Well, Dave Meltzer is reporting that that is the plan. So once Dan Bryan's WWE contract is up,
So I'm wondering, if we get closer to that contract being up, if WWE is like, okay, we'll sign you again, we'll let you wrestle
because
2 matches.
I think he'll do it. I think he's one of those.
They don't want him to let
guys-
him go. I don't think.
They
I think
want him in the fold.
They'll let him. Okay, how many matches can we let him wrestle and be done?
If WWE is in a position to say like, okay, what does Dan Bryan walk, they would have done it already. They wouldn't have tried hard to get him back in the role that he's in now.
GM position.
Yeah, and I just don't think that they would let that happen. But at the same time, I know he wants to get back in the ring.
Yeah,
so
it's crazy.
Here's the whole problem with this. I want to see Daniel Bryan back in the ring more than anybody else. But the problem is with the disease right now that they're saying that they think he has, this CTE. It's a very, dangerous thing that they're still kind of learning about, that, it's a lot of red tape. I mean, even for the WWE. I mean, granted, I'm sure they don't want to lose him, but man, what happens if
something were to go wrong?
He goes wrong, we die,
Right,
or God
right.
forbid, we have a Chris Benoit situation or something like it. And I'm not trying to walk that dark line, on this show, but it's got with something with what Daniel has and what
And the thing
they're finding in professional football players with this same thing. You kind of got to bring it up in the same breath because they don't know really what this does to people.
The Chris Benoit thing has been, obviously you can't even mention it without mentioning the fact that it was like one of the most tragic things to ever happen in pro wrestling, if not the most tragic thing to ever happen.
Yeah.
But if there was one silver lining that came out of that, is the fact that the WWE is now at the forefront of getting on top of these. They've completely taken out any moves that give direct blows to the head or potentially direct blows to the head. For the most part, there's no headshots with chairs anymore. Like WWE is they're in many ways more strict than like the NFL or any other contact sport about this issue.
But I mean, with this, it could be just more than just a direct blow. Like, what if he takes a bump wrong and lands on his head? I mean, it's one of those things where I get it. When you're doing something that you love and it gets taken away, it's hard. But man, at the same time, you're about to have a kid. You got to take more than just. You got to take the full stock into things, not just.
Well, we're already at 3 years with him. He's been gone since 2014.
I'm kind of with Shawn on this
been a
one.
while.
I don't think the reward is worth the risk.
I mean, yeah. Do we want you back? Of course we want you back. You're still one of the most popular people. When you come out, you still get a big pop. But is that worth your life?
Right.
I go back. I mean, I can, thank you, Daniel Bryan, for everything that you've done. I can go back on the network and thankfully watch all of the great matches that you've had in WWE in your brief stint that you had.
Are you talking to him directly right now? Is he listening?
If he's listening, by
Dan,
all means.
Dan, if
have
you're
we
listening,
gotten that big? Episode 6, man. It only
The check's in the mail.
Just like you said, Trav.
Mama. Yeah, we made it. We made it.
It could still. Now, what if we, like you said, what if it's a work? What if it's
I don't
longest
see
such a long work.
WWE. I don't give creative that much credit. I don't think they have the patience to.
You think Dan would want to do that? Not wrestle
Not
for
to
3
mention
years?
that, but here's one thing: the WWE takes the whole concussion thing very seriously. So for them to work it into an angle, I don't see it happening.
seems a bit
It would
much.
make too much light of the situation, and that goes against everything that their whole concussion protocol thing is about. So,
But if it is, it would be the greatest work.
because they've made
Of
no
all
bone,
time.
they've made no bones about the fact that Daniel Bryan can't wrestle because of his concussions. if they were to go back and say, just kidding, we changed our mind, you can wrestle one more match, that would literally say everything that we said about concussions is BS.
Yeah.
And they're not going to trust.
And they're not going to do that.
I don't know. WWE does some stupid stuff sometimes.
I was talking to Mike before we got
knows?
on there, though. I could maybe see a situation where his contract expires and he goes out in the indie scene and does a couple of dates and then maybe re-signs with WWE afterwards just to kind of get it out of his system. But I don't know. Like, it's.
I just don't. I can't see anybody wanting to take that risk. That's. I mean,
I'm sure
you're
there's
looking
plenty
at.
of companies.
If something, God forbid, were to happen to him,
Just
you're
because-
looking at $1 billion
think NOW
lawsuit.
would book Dan Bryan for a match?
There's a lot of indie promotions I could see that would be literally
big bag of
chomping
money.
at the bit.
They would even let him take chair shots to the head. That's how much they would want him on in their
if you're
promotion.
the one indie promotion that gets Dan Bryan booked for, he actually said that if he did wrestle again, he would want to go to CMLL. It's kind of interesting. It's a promotion down in Mexico.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So kind of interesting. I figured he would be like ROH, PWG, maybe one of the big,
ICW,
maybe one of the bigger like British indies or something like that. But no, apparently CMLL, New Japan. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to see him back in the ring, but I think the risk is greater than what the reward's going to be.
Agreed. Anyway,
let's move on to our final piece of news.
last little bit of news, just a little tidbit, reported by Mike Johnson of PWInsider.com that officially this week, the TNA name has been dropped from pretty much all things related to Impact
Are
Wrestling.
they getting all new belts?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like I haven't looked at them, but I'm pretty sure all the belts are new. The TNA moniker is literally gone from everything.
It's about time.
So,
It's about to be TNA.
yeah, it's part of a new.
So is that open
branding,
for? Can we copyright that name? TNA.
We could probably, yeah. I mean, I think it's
file
free
for
now.
a copyright.
Total nonstop audio.
Total nonstop audio. Welcome to TNA, everybody.
Yeah, I think it's a great move though, because honestly, the TNA name when it first came out, like obviously TNA was seen as like an alternative, but it got so
What does TNA stand for? Total nonstop action.
total nonstop action.
What else does it stand for?
Test and Albert.
Test and Albert.
Test
That's
and
right.
Albert.
Yeah,
One of
yeah,
the
I
classic
forgot about that.
WWE.
Actually, when they first started out, it was actually a part of
It was the NWA.
NWA.
Yeah, it was one of the
It was
NWA.
NWA because I remember when
NWA's TNA.
I remember
Total Nonstop
watching
Action.
it on pay-per-views every now and then when they didn't do hour shows. They just ran on pay-per-view like a monthly show for like 4 hours, and they were NWA TNA
Yeah,
wrestling.
remember? Which actually,
I remember.
You remember?
you guys remember? AJ Styles, one of the very few guys to actually be an NWA champion and a WWE champion. So
Who else? Jeff Jarrett.
Rick
Jarrett never,
Jeff
Jeff Jarrett
Flair's
never
up
held the
there.
WWE championship.
No. It's a very short list. I don't have the off the top of my head, but
I don't know if I could even think.
Ric Flair being one of them.
No.
He's held both, but
I guess.
not too many guys held both. But anyway,
All right, Impact Wrestling.
so
no
now
more TNA.
completely we're gonna make Impact great.
Again.
Just great because their new campaign is make Impact great.
Is that really what they're saying?
#MIG.
Is that what they're saying?
Yeah, that's literally it.
Make
That's-
Impact great.
Yeah, they're not even trying to.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know.
They should really go after a different demographic than
I don't know, man.
that.
This is why some promotion is going to get lucky when they hire this creative team.
Yeah. We're open for booking, so if you want us
Hit
to
us
write
up.
your show,
You need
now.
Yep.
Come to our local grocery store.
Twitter.com/Audio Suplex Live at Audio Suplex Live on Facebook. Hit us up. We'll book your show.
yeah. All right, let's move on.
Anyway,
I'm tired of news. I'm tired of news. Let's talk about the greatest pay-per-view of 2017.
I mean, come
So
on, this was
far.
groundbreaking.
We're talking WWE Fastlane 2017. Travis, what do you think?
oh man, Joe, do we have a toilet flush? Drop no. Damn. All right.
Damn.
Get on that, Joe.
So let's go over the card. Let's go over. What are we starting with the pre-show here?
Yeah, we'll start with our lonely pre-show match.
Not pre-show.
So Rich Swann and Akira Tozawa went over Noam Dar and Brian Kendrick.
No brainer.
No brainer there. It was the opposite of what I said, because on our individual picks, I said who takes and who makes the fall. I thought Tozawa was going to get a pinfall win over
Not yet.
Kendrick,
No.
but it was actually
That's for
Swann
Mania.
getting getting over. No, I
It's
don't.
for the pre-show at Mania,
Yeah,
bro.
it is probably going to be on the pre-show at Mania actually. Yeah, so pretty cut and dry. Cruiserweight, showcase match. Nothing too fancy or out of the ordinary here.
I'm gonna be honest. I missed this one.
No, it was one of the better matches. Like if you take the pre-show and the actual show and count all those matches, it was one of the better matches of the card. But that's really not saying it's like being the smartest Kardashian. Like, it's really not,
Wow.
not really.
That's for our round table. We're gonna go over the smartest Kardashian
It's
at our next round table.
It's what's the dude's name?
I don't know. Tony.
Tony Kardashian. All right. So first match of the main card: Sami Zayn taking on Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe, obviously,
It's a good match.
Very good match. Picking up the win here. Samoa Joe, really just kind of like a showcase of him being a destroyer.
He is a destroyer, and he is unstoppable.
But not a pure squash match, which I really like, because that actually still keeps Sami Zayn kind of respectable. And
Well, they were talking. The commentary was like, "Oh, we got a 2-time NXT champion," and like, don't forget, Sami Zayn is an NXT champion too.
Yeah.
So they were saying, they were at the same level. They were both NXT champions,
and they've had good matches in NXT before, like the 2 out of 3 falls and the
exactly
Those pop-up power bombs, my God.
Oh, what do you mean from
from the 2 out of 3. What are you talking? Pop-up power bombs.
Oh,
Kevin Owens.
no.
Who are you talking about?
I thought it was that match.
Oh no.
Just
But,
that one shot that Joe hit Sammy with in the corner that just jabbed.
Oh yeah.
That was that looked brutal.
If there was one thing I could say about Samoa Joe, and there's many things I can say about Samoa Joe, is that he has one of the best looking like strikes. Like his jabs and his hits look very impactful.
And my God, for as big as that man is,
he's quick.
So fat. Like I can't believe like how
He's
quick
so fat.
He's so fat.
No, just for this.
Shouts out to Scott Steiner.
For his size, it's just he moves.
He's a very
I wouldn't
agile.
hesitate to say like a cruiserweight, but man, he definitely
quick.
he's quick.
He's quick, for a big
deceptively
man.
quick.
Yes.
So, nothing that this match. If Ray Charles could have picked this match.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, we talked about it on the pre-show. This was gonna be. It's got to be. You're building Samoa Joe to be a threat at some point. So I mean, you
Zayn
needed
losing
to
doesn't hurt.
So my question is this now: what do we have? Because they didn't really do anything with him on Monday Night Raw. What is there for Samoa Joe to do at WrestleMania?
Enforce. Triple H.
Be in the Triple H segment or whatever that ends up becoming.
Maybe they throw him in the Battle Royal. Maybe they'll have. I mean, we still got time for them to put a match.
I don't think so because they've already announced 2 people for the armbar, which would be Mojo Rawley and Apollo Crews, who announced himself on Talking Smack as being in it. In between,
doesn't look like Rusev's going to be in it. I think he's going to be gone off TV for a while.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
He said he tweeted something about resting.
Yeah,
I mean, everything going on.
You still got 3 weeks to give him something to do.
And there is a persistent rumor that we could be seeing a returning Finn Balor soon.
Maybe he'll be in the Andre the Giant
Battle
Royal.
I want to see him come back.
That'd be like building a sandcastle with a bulldozer. Come on, get out of here. All right, so next match of the card, I think I'm going to get these a little bit out of order. I can't actually remember.
Just go for it.
We're going to go Sasha Banks and Nia Jax.
That sounds right.
I think that was the next card.
Yeah.
Next match.
Realistically, Nia Jax should have won this match.
A lot of people were surprised.
Well, the way it ended was with a roll-up, right?
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
What did
She could barely hold her down there, but she.
What did I say on the pre-show? I said I think Sasha's going to find some kind of way to adjust her strategy because they've already had like 17 matches at this point.
Yeah.
Sasha can only do the same thing so many times before she realizes, okay, this is clearly not working. Let me try something new. And I think that's what they kind of try to do here.
I think they still made Nia look strong, even though she lost the match. But I also said on the pre-show, Sasha's got to come on top of this because she's lost all the other ones. That this has got to be like her defining moment because then they want to move on from this.
Right. I wish we could have done the picks as we were watching it because I don't know if you noticed the entire video package for that match was Nia Jax just destroying Sasha Banks. Everything they showed was Sasha Banks is getting destroyed and Nia Jax is this unstoppable monster. And after seeing that, I'm like, I should have picked Sasha Banks to win this one because they're booking it like there's no chance that she's going to win.
Right.
Which, of course, she's going to win if that's what they're doing.
Right. So this was one of the harder ones to predict.
Yeah.
I mean, two of us got it right. So,
Yep.
just to kind of recap real quick. So we all picked correctly for the Swan Tozawa match. We all picked correctly for Samoa Joe and Sami Zayn. And then Shawn and I are the only people who picked Sasha Banks. You and Ajax, who's not joining us tonight, picked,
He's a different gentleman, not Mike here. Mike, you're a different. You can pretend to be Ajax if you want.
Yeah,
you can assume all his picks. He did bad.
I'm
Almost as
picturing
bad
Mike
as
with
me.
dreads now.
What? That's not.
All right. So next match on the card, we have Gallows and Anderson defending the Raw Tag Team titles against Enzo and Big Cass.
It seems like every Enzo and Big Cass match I've ever seen in my life. Enzo goes in, gets beat up, hot tag, Cass whoops some butt, tags Enzo back in, and then either they get the pinfall there or Enzo messes up.
How long before the general population starts to ride Big Cass for doing the 5 moves of doom? He literally does. He does the corner
Empire elbow.
He does the corner fall away slam.
Yeah,
and then he does it out of the other corner, and then he does the big boot, and then he does the Empire elbow, and that's.
Oh, and then he tags in Enzo and throws him up in the air.
Yeah, that's literally it.
I think I think he gets a pass. Not saying that it's right, but I think he gets a pass just because.
No, when
they refer to, they see these guys as the new age outlaws, basically. And let's look at it. Billy Gunn and Road Dogg kind of were the same thing. They didn't do any real gaudy moves or anything where it's like it blew you away. They just had, And I think that's kind of how they view these guys, so they kind of give them a pass on it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I said this on the
stale.
I said this on the pre-show.
Yeah, we agreed on the pre-show that we thought this was getting stale, and even kicked around the idea of, hey, maybe it's about time that Enzo just manages Cass and let Cass, at least, be the wrestler, just because at least Enzo can talk on the mic.
Yeah.
Right. So
peace.
Wasn't anything out of the ordinary. It was pretty much your standard issue.
What were the picks on that?
Match. We all picked the club across
Good
the board.
job, everybody.
Smart move,
Good job,
guys.
Ajax.
Good job.
Thanks.
All right. So what else we got going on here? Let's talk about women's title match: Bayley versus Charlotte. This was kind of a shocker.
Yeah, I didn't see this one coming personally.
I did.
And this match was and
I'm
you're
gonna
the
be that guy
only
tonight.
one. Yep. Yeah, enjoy it now. This is I don't know, man. Like, this was one of those. This whole match was kind of like a microcosm for the entire show. Why? What is the point?
It's a big waste.
The ending was
What a
screwy.
waste.
Which it should have been they had a perfect ending in their hands.
Right?
Well, they had a perfect ending in their hands right there. Because what did I say on the pre-show? I said something to the effect of having Charlotte win by disqualification,
Right?
Yeah.
Which would keep the pay-per-view streak alive, but also keep the belt on Bayley. And they had that because Sasha ran out, and there was a physical altercation between her and Charlotte on the outside of the ring before, during the match. They could have ended it on DQ right there, and that would have been the perfect ending. That would have been fantastic. But still, they kept it going somehow, and then, because Sasha pointed out that Charlotte was holding the tights during the pinfall, like they threw the pinfall out, and then Bayley wins. Why would you build up this huge?
I thought what I found weird is I thought the whole Sasha run-in up until Charlotte holding the tights made no sense.
Well,
Because
isn't it a
Dana
DQ when Sasha Banks hits Charlotte?
Yeah, that too.
How is that not a
it's like
DQ?
Dana Brooks never came out, so it was like, okay,
Yeah.
there was really no rhyme or reason for Sasha to be out there in the first place.
Well, I think they made it seem like Bayley didn't see Sasha come out.
And this just makes the faces in this look like a bunch of jerks.
Yeah.
Like Dana Brooke followed the rules. She stayed in the back, chilled, put her feet up, drank some Mountain Dew Kickstart.
She's the biggest face on Raw in the women's division.
Yeah. And I get it, but I was just kind of surprised overall, like how mad everybody was that Charlotte's streak ended not at WrestleMania. Which, I mean, I guess I see it, and I'm not saying I disagree with it, but I mean,
it just seems like a dumb place to end it. Like, I feel like there could have been a lot.
It kind of feels like that way now, just because I thought the whole rhyme and reason for her to lose was because they wanted to set up Sasha and Bailey at Mania. Well, now
Now
we'll
it's a
get to
triple
that in a little bit, but I
No,
mean,
we can talk about it. It's a triple
now
threat
it's
now.
going to be a
Yeah.
triple threat. I mean, it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
If this
now.
doesn't end in a Sasha heel turn, then what is the point?
I think Sasha pins Bailey at WrestleMania.
You think so?
That's what I think they're going to end up.
We end with the boss.
And then the next pay-per-view is in San Antonio, which is where Bailey is from.
Yeah, no, she's from San Diego,
San Jose.
San Jose. Well, wherever she's from is where the next pay-per-view
and
is
she'll
taking
get it
place.
back there.
So she can get her rematch.
I like that storyline.
Well, no, she'll lose because it's her hometown, but she'll get her rematch there.
Oh, gotcha. WWE does not like people winning in their hometowns.
No, it never happens
Nope,
anymore.
Never
But
happens.
Punk was the last one.
Oh, I mean, it's
I'm
happened.
sure Punk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
Punk,
happened,
Punk
but-
would live in or win in his hometown all the time, but
All right, got two more matches to go over real quick. Just for picks on that. Everybody picked Charlotte except for,
I picked Bailey.
of course, he did. Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman.
I don't know why I picked Braun Strowman.
I
to win
mean,
this match.
I was
Well, you
wondering
know
that
what?
when you
I
sent
don't.
me your picks.
I don't know.
And
He
look-
was the odds-on favorite, and if you
He
go to-
was, but at the same time, and I said on the pre-show that I thought it made more sense for Braun to win, just because I felt like if you having
He
Roman
could use
lose,
the win.
having Roman lose wasn't going to hurt Roman
he
compared to what
loses
you were trying to,
occasionally.
and
I don't think this hurts Braun that
I don't think it
much.
does just because of they made him look
He's never
strong
lost.
throughout the.
Right.
Yeah, and he looked really strong.
looked
in
really
the match.
strong.
And this was actually a surprisingly good match.
The only thing I took
agree.
issue with
Yeah.
is the equivalent of the Brock Lesnar shooting star press that he decided he was going to go to the top rope.
Oh,
and-
the frog splash.
yeah,
That was insane. He
kind
got
of
up.
Yeah.
that was kind of a bizarre, and I'm kind of like, what? Why?
They've been putting in these little gems of Braun Strowman being like
not-
athletic. He does a
yeah.
kip up in a couple
He's
matches.
quick.
Oh,
and-
he's at those drop kicks.
I would not want to be on the
jeez.
receiving end of one of those. Good
And-
lord.
And you knew he was athletic because once we saw him in show wrestle, and you finally have guys, and my brother pointed this out to me, and being as big as the Big Show and Braun Strowman are, it's hard for them to have grappling type matches with guys that are half their size compared to when you get someone because you saw when Braun faced the Big Show, you had a good chain wrestling match going on where. You almost forgot how tall both these guys are.
Right. I thought it was a good match. I personally would have went with Strowman, even though my heart of hearts and my pick said Reigns.
I think it would have made more sense based on what they were building towards. But Roman
We
getting a
ended up-
match with Taker wouldn't make sense if he had just come off a big loss.
Shout out
Right.
to Roman
Taker.
Reigns and his LA Gear shoes that he was wearing that
Oh
night.
my god.
So
yeah.
do you guys see Roman beating Taker at WrestleMania?
This is the first time
It's
in
got to happen.
WrestleMania history that I can honestly think that the Undertaker is the underdog here.
And he turns heel. Roman turns heel.
It's
What if he beats down Undertaker so badly
I could,
don't see
but I
that.
guess I could see a situation where the Undertaker wins and Roman gets mad and just
And
beats
then
the hell out
turns
of him
heel?
and then turns heel.
and then
Yeah.
retires Undertaker
Ooh,
by
I don't
beating
know.
him senseless after the match?
That would be Undertaker's last gift to the business. Like, we are going to get this kid over if I have to
I
do
would
it
hate
myself.
I think,
But see, at the same time,
I think
too,
he loses. I think Taker loses.
It is.
But at
It
the
is
same
your
time,
yard
too, it's
now.
like I'm also at the same stance of, yeah, it is the Undertaker, but him showing up at WrestleMania anymore now, it's just like, okay.
Was
Without
any-
the streak, I just kind of it loses
Yeah.
something with me.
And he's getting older too. It's just getting harder and harder
I mean,
to believe.
with him not having the streak, it's just like him showing up at WrestleMania. It's just kind of like, because two, it's also for me. It's like, well, I don't want to see him lose again because then the streak basically meant nothing for the
Yeah,
last 20
yeah.
years.
We'll see. Well, we see how WWE likes to handle streaks. They really don't put too much.
Nothing
they
lasts
worry about
forever.
it for a while, and
Right,
they're like,
right,
screw it. What's a streak?
So I did skip over. So real quick, we'll do the results of that one. Reigns across the board, with the exception of Corey, who picked Braun Strowman. Not a bad pick though. Like, honestly, you could have flipped a coin, and I would have probably picked that too.
I mean, you just got to go with what you know.
Yeah,
And I know beards.
yeah, and you know beards. So we did skip one other match before we get to the main event, which, in my opinion, this match was the main event of the evening.
Are we talking cruiserweight?
You know how I love my
That was
cruiserweights.
I'd have to say that was the match of the night.
That was the match of the night.
You know what would have made the match better?
Huh.
Tony Nese. And his
Finally,
abs.
someone that I agree with.
Oh,
him.
you guys are. We established that on
Yes,
Sunday's show.
I'm a big fan of the knees.
You and Shawn
I'm a big
are
fan
both
of
on the
Tony
Nice
Nese
train.
myself.
Yeah.
First time I saw him, I'm like, oh.
All right, real quick. Side topic because that's how we like to do things on
Yeah.
Audio Suplex Live. Top 3 cruiserweights in the cruiserweight division. Corey.
Tony Nese, and Tony Nese's abs.
Okay, I'm into it. And the running knees.
You know, okay. So top as far as who's a contender for
overall.
the title,
Yeah.
or who do I like?
No, just overall, who your favorites?
I mean, I really like Tony Nese. I like Noam Dar. He loses all the time, but I like Noam
He's
Dar.
fantastic though.
Um,
Guy gets away with saying the F word on a weekly basis. It's great.
and probably Jack Gallagher is pretty good
Gallagher?
too. Yeah.
I think I named it. Right now I like Tony Nese, Dar. I said, and I'm liking Tozawa.
Akira Tozawa. I
But-
know you're not.
I know who Tony Nese, Neville, and Swan.
Oh, Rich Swan. Can you handle it?
Which one?
But I don't know. Now that Austin Aries is back, someone might get bumped out of the top
Ooh,
3.
That's true.
And
That's true.
What a
I would-
hellacious promo on Raw.
Gentleman
by the
Jack
way.
would get bumped for Austin Aries.
I'm not gonna lie. When that all started to go down, I got very excited.
That was like the perfect crowd and the perfect reaction for that Austin Aries Neville thing on Raw. That was just, you couldn't have planned that better. Chicago was like, they were hot for it. They
Raw
were
was the
ready.
shit this week.
It was okay.
Hey,
I wouldn't
That's
go
all right.
that far, but it's been better than what it has
Right.
been.
It's better than SmackDown.
Yeah, it was definitely better than Fastlane, that's for sure. But so I would probably go. Everybody knows I'm a big Akira Tozawa guy. Tozawa, give me Gallagher. Nah, Tony Nese ain't cracking it,
What
man.
about his abs?
I would his abs are up there. I would probably say A-Dub. Just A-Dub. He's fantastic. Austin Aries is the best. He's a blessing.
But no, shout out to Neville. I do like with the heel turn and everything.
Yeah, he's doing
Like
good stuff.
he's holding down that division with.
And
I'm digging the new heel turn. Also, can I just say that I got very excited that he pulled out the Red Arrow Sunday night too.
Yeah, he
that's
doesn't do
like
that anymore.
his super finisher now. Like that's the
when he needs to
special
pull it
occasion.
out.
Yeah, he doesn't do it every night.
He
but-
doesn't, but I'm just like, oh, he did the Red Arrow. I'm like,
and he crushed.
But yeah, heels don't typically do the high flying
Uh,
stuff.
but no, like you said, I thought that was the match of the night. I thought
I think
it did
between-
everything it needed to do. Neville came out on top, but Gallagher
Looked
still
very
looked
good.
very strong
looked
and
very good.
even gave you the glimpses of, hey, maybe they might
Pull
you
the
know.
trigger and yeah.
It wasn't gonna happen.
I think between that match being arguably the best match of the night on the
I don't know. We
on
still got
Fastlane
one other match that may be better.
match. I think between that and then the next night on Raw with Austin Aries coming out and doing the promo with Neville, I think a lot of eyes are going to be on the cruiserweight division now. I think they're in a position where they're starting to kind of turn that corner and getting crowds back into
If
it.
they get Rey Mysterio or one other big name cruiserweight from,
You keep if wishes were fishes.
Well,
man,
first,
dude.
just saying,
first
if
you're
they
gonna have
had
to sign Mysterio, and then you're gonna have to sign his knees to a different contract. And they're gonna have to take lesser money.
Oh yikes! Plus,
Tell
he's
me
he's
I'm
in the
wrong.
temple, man.
I'm just saying, if they want it to work, there's
So,
a very easy solution.
My only hope, even for that Austin Aries Neville match, is like let's add something to that. Make it a ladder match. I
That'd be
think
really
that would
good.
just be a great match.
What about like one of those the Hell in a Cell with the cage and then the dogs around it?
Oh, the dog kennel match.
The dog kennel. Yeah.
As made famous by I believe it was the Big Show,
Big
and-
Boss Man,
Big Boss Man and Al Snow.
and Al Snow. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
One of the
Fantastic.
one of
That's
the
not
darkest,
fantastic.
one of the more darker storylines ever.
Yikes. Anyway, so takes us to the main event of the evening, and I use that term.
You mean I
again.
told you so? I told you so match.
All right, Shawn, get it all out of your system now, because I'm not going to take another 15 minutes of this. So, Kevin Owens defending his Universal title against Bill Goldberg.
And I got told the whole pre-show during this that I was nuts. There's no
I
way
didn't-
KO was going to lose the
thought-
title.
I didn't say you
I
were
said
nuts.
Goldberg was gonna win.
Ajax and Travis
I
kept
did-
telling
They're
me
crazy.
how crazy I was.
I didn't say you were
What
crazy.
was the one other
Joe,
match? There was
defend
only
me.
one other. There was only one other match that they said you have to be brainless if you took
Bailey.
I think it was the
probably.
Bailey match.
Yeah.
No, I think it was Strowman and Reigns.
No, I think it was the Bailey.
No. I'm going to, and I'll go
I don't
back
know.
and
We'll
play
go
it off
back.
my phone and play the audio through here. I said it's likely going to be Goldberg, and I would understand why because they want the belt on him through. But I could see them doing a situation.
I was told
where,
there is no way Kevin Owens is going to lose that title. And I sat here and I said, There is every way that Kevin Owens is going to lose that belt.
You called the booking for that.
Even down to how long the match was going to be.
20 seconds, 21
seconds.
I do.
Because we didn't do that on air, though.
I saw a thing on Reddit the other day that harkened back to a match between Goldberg and his WCW run versus another NWO alum that I would never compare either of you two to, Virgil.
Virgil, yes.
Virgil lasted longer in the ring than Kevin Owens did against Goldberg. Now, granted, Virgil didn't have Chris Jericho coming out and causing the distraction, setting up for a U.S. title match at WrestleMania, but...
I don't know if any of you remember this. So when Goldberg's not very good at giving promos. He'll go out there and let him talk.
Go on.
Sometimes he bleeds from his head the whole time, and he has to repeat what he's saying because he doesn't remember what he's supposed to say.
He can't.
So
sometimes he forgets the name of the belt he's going
So
after.
he came back, So he came back at Survivor Series and fought Lesnar, right?
Fantasy Warfare.
And the crowd went crazy, right?
Yeah.
And he came out and he said he talked to Steph McMahon. And he's like, she asked me if I have another title run left in me, which means Stephanie's like, hey, would you like to win the belt? I don't think he was supposed to tell everyone, hey, Stephanie asked me if I was able to hold that belt. He pretty much gave it away when he made that announcement a couple months ago.
It's a bit of foreshadowing, but
I have a feeling that when he actually had that meeting, they're like, we're going to put the belt on you. And he's like, okay.
But you got to remember, when he said that initially, he was hyping himself to go into the Rumble.
But I'm just saying.
Rumble
I feel you, though.
Rumble
I feel
had
like
nothing
he
to-
accidentally said,
He just gave it out.
I'm sticking around for one more title reign.
Here's the thing.
Even though
I picked otherwise, I knew they were going to do it. And I know
easy to
why
say
they're
now.
doing it, because we're getting into casual season.
But you can't keep doing this for the casual fans. Because
every year.
No matter
It's
what,
every year.
I understand, but no matter what, the casual fans are not buying the network. The casual fans are not going to your events.
Okay, your non-casual fans are going to buy the network regardless. Look
Okay,
at us.
I
We're talking
understand
smack, and
Yeah,
we watch.
and
I
here-
understand
we watch
that,
the
but
network.
You can't just keep basing everything on the
They
casual
can.
fan.
Well, there's a classic gif of R-Truth dancing in front of the WWE Network going, we still got your effing money.
Yeah.
You know,
They already got you.
Here we are, how many days removed from the show, and we're still going to go back, and we're going to go back to the well as many times as they'll abuse us, and we'll keep going back.
Let's
Yeah,
say I was a
'cause to me
huge
it's-
wrestling fan 10 years ago, and I haven't watched wrestling in 10 years.
You flipping through the channel.
Goldberg? Goldberg's the champion?
What is that belt he has?
What? He's the champion. Brock Lesnar? I remember those guys.
I was gonna watch Scrubs again tonight, but I think I'm gonna watch this
Yeah,
instead.
you know what?
Scrubs.
I can get WrestleMania for free if I sign up for the network right now. I get a
I
month
hate to say
free.
it's Shawn, you're right. It sucks. I was telling Mike on the way over here.
That's how you get
to
new
do the show
subscribers.
tonight.
That's real.
And look, I just want to be very clear. It's not that I hate Goldberg. As a matter of fact, I like Goldberg.
I don't like him.
You're in the
If this
mindset
was-
of a lot of fans in the world
If
today.
this was
Yeah.
any other, if we were going into any other pay-per-view, but the biggest one of the year, I'd be absolutely okay that he has the belt. I'd even be okay if he was going into WrestleMania as the champion already, like what they did with The Rock. If he would have won it, like say at the Rumble or something, and went in as the champion, and that he was going to lose to someone that
That's
is
what's
sticking
happening.
around.
He won
He's
it at
losing
the
to someone
Fastlane.
else that's going to be a part-timer.
Well, that person's
That's
going to
it.
lose it to Samoa Joe.
But
Joe.
at that point, I mean, and they can, if they do it right, build up talent after
And I
this.
think that match isn't going to be any better than this one. Because, look, I keep trying to tell people, and people don't believe, Goldberg can't go.
I will say this. If they hadn't have put the belt on Jericho, the U.S. belt, then that could have been their program for the world title. Could have been Jericho versus
Right.
Kevin Owens.
right.
But they put that belt on him, and they can't just
I
neglect
don't-
the U.S. title forever.
I do
I know,
like so
I
Kevin
agree
Owens.
with that.
Kevin Owens started out Raw cutting a promo about how he has a rematch basically for the for the Universal title, and he's going to use it when he thinks is the best opportunity, which is good because that plays into his character as an opportunist, and kind of continues that storyline.
Maybe Goldberg beats Lesnar at
But
WrestleMania.
I don't like this narrative that Kevin Owens is, besides, Chris Jericho costing him the Universal title, his motivation is to take the belt away from Jericho. Jericho hasn't even shown any interest in having the belt. Like, that's not what this is about.
Yeah.
all they're going to do is put the belt on Owens so they can hopefully elevate the U.S. title. But
Well, they need it. They need to, since, obviously
Shawn?
Lesnar's going to, either Lesnar or Goldberg's leaving WrestleMania with the titles, and they're not going to wrestle every pay-per-view.
Sean, I hate it as much as you do. There's no bigger Kevin Owens fan in this room.
It's not even just Kevin Owens. It's just the fact that WWE every year, and it goes back to, they even still joke about it. It's like, brass ring. Okay, work hard throughout the year, and it's going to pay off WrestleMania time. Well, it doesn't, because you still bring in garbage like this. That
if you're a big enough name, you're pretty high.
And here's the
main
thing.
card,
I
though.
get it. I agree with you. There's people on the card who deserve these spots at WrestleMania, but to Corey's bigger point,
They're trying to get new subscribers.
they're trying to get these people who are coming back in. And
I understand the point, but what I'm saying is I don't think you're going to accomplish that. I think you're going to get. I think you're going to get the people to watch to get it for a minute so they can watch WrestleMania.
That's
But
fine.
then they're not gonna.
Well, that's why they got to get you hooked by all the other content that they have on there.
And
I don't think the casual fan does. I don't think the casual fan
What
cares.
ads do they run during WrestleMania? Oh, look at this really cool original series we have on the network. Here's another reason for you to keep your subscription. Oh, check this out. You get all the pay-per-views. Here's another reason for you to keep your
old
subscription.
ECW pay-per-views,
Exactly.
old WCW
all the whole
pay-per-views.
back catalog.
Oh,
Here's
you were a
another
fan
reason.
in the '90s? Guess what? You can
You can
relive
watch all the
all
old
of
stuff.
your old stuff.
That's what happened when
WWE is a crack dealer. They give you a free hit, and then you're hooked.
Yeah.
All I know is the two biggest names that were carrying this company for these last 6 months are both basically going to be, not so much Kevin Owens, but they're basically just, okay, cool, mid-card, there you go. AJ Styles is about to wrestle in a match that doesn't even matter against Shane McMahon.
That's a bit rough. Yeah.
And,
So as it's shaping up right now, it's looking like WrestleMania card is shaping up for the most part. We have an idea of what we're going to have from the Raw side. Obviously, Lesnar and Goldberg for the belt.
I'll take
KO
a bathroom
and
break during that.
Jericho.
KO and Chris Jericho for the U.S. belt. We're probably going to get something with Austin Aries and Neville for the Cruiserweight title. Maybe even a multi-man match. We'll see.
The Club and Enzo Amore
And,
Cass,
yeah,
possibly.
I think that's going to end up turning into a triple threat
I agree.
for some
Possibly,
reason.
Interesting to see what I think SmackDown will have American Alpha versus the Usos in some
That's
capacity.
going to be a good match.
They did announce that Alexa Bliss is going to be defending the
all
belt.
Against
available.
everybody.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting.
Alexa Bliss versus the world.
We almost can chisel it into stone that we're going to get John Cena and Nikki Bella versus The Miz and Maurice.
Oh my! We were talking about talking smack.
That
The
was
Miz
insane.
and Maurice's promo. I mean, they're going very adult almost with this. From Maurice, basically insinuating that
Yep.
the Bellas were escorts to, I mean, it just got very, very like
This is
adult
getting- and
like,
that's what
almost
Talking Smack.
uncomfortable.
Talking Smack is very much becoming that like
I
you
like
can really
Talking
kind of let the
Smack a
hair
lot.
down a little bit and
Yeah.
kind of. But anyway, so that was Fastlane.
Overall, thumbs up or thumbs down?
Worst pay-per-view.
Thumbs down.
in
And
terms,
everybody kept trying
We do a
to,
middle.
No.
and everybody kept trying to like, well, it's the pay-per-view before WrestleMania. It's usually no, because look,
Right.
SmackDown's last pay-per-view before WrestleMania was, very strong show.
Oh, yeah. Elimination
Let's-
Chamber is great.
let's wrap this up with this. Give me one highlight and one downlight,
Highlight.
low light.
Samoa Joe looked amazing.
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah, we could just low
real
light
quick.
across the board
Yeah, this
is
Samoa Joe looked great. My negative, Bailey won and Charlotte wasted her streak.
Mike.
I was surprised. I was surprised with the Reigns match. I was disappointed the way the tag match ended.
Yeah, it was a little screwy.
It was I didn't like it.
Sean.
Actually, I got two down ones just because.
All right. Quickly.
Quickly, but Cruiserweight match was phenomenal. Best match of the night. And Strowman looked strong. My downsides was obviously Goldberg winning. And also this whole nonsense with Rusev and Mahal that
Oh, that
they
was a
needed to,
really
that they
weird-
needed to throw in there.
They had to fill
just,
some time because the final match was only 21 seconds long.
but just it made no sense and it was dumb and
I agree. That was
All right.
dumb.
Highlight for me, the Cruiserweights have officially arrived. I think they're turning a corner with the Cruiserweight division. And then also Samoa Joe. Not only that, but Sami Zayn still looks strong through that match as well. Downside, once again, like I said, I hate to see casual season getting upon us, but I get it. But it sucks. But, strap in. WrestleMania is not our show, guys.
All right. Well, that does it for that portion of our show. Let's move on to our Brainbuster trivia. You guys ready?
Corey, do you want to explain how this works?
Yes. I'm going to ask each of you gentlemen 3 questions. Whoever gets the most points will win a prize.
Is this going to be the same way where we do like Mike gets a question, if he answers wrong, Shawn gets to steal?
Yes.
Okay. Steal down the line?
Steal down the line, and then you still get your question. So if you stole one, it's still your turn. You get to go 2 in a row.
Okay.
We'll do it like that.
Where are we going to start?
Who wants to go first?
Travi.
I'll go first.
All right, Travis, you are going first.
Now, these are all, you told me earlier, these are all WrestleMania.
Correct. You're each getting 3 WrestleMania questions.
Because
We're on the Fastlane to
on the
WrestleMania.
road to WrestleMania.
If there is a tie at the end, I have some tiebreaker questions that aren't necessarily WrestleMania related, so
Okay.
we shall see.
Run it.
Travis,
Yo.
at WrestleMania 17,
Yes, sir.
Shane McMahon beat his dad, Vince McMahon, in a street fight.
Correct.
Who was the special guest referee?
Special guest referee was Mick Foley?
That is correct.
Yes.
All right, let's move on to question number 2. This is for you, Shawn. Which WrestleMania featured Floyd Money Mayweather beating The Big Show? Which WrestleMania?
Ooh.
WrestleMania. I want to say 24.
That is correct. Wow, good job.
Good job, dude.
All right, here we go. This one is for
Pressure.
Mike. At WrestleMania 19, who defeated Vince McMahon in a street fight? WrestleMania 19, who defeated?
Cold?
That is incorrect. Travis, do you know?
Solid flesh.
Oh, no.
Travis, do you know who defeated?
That would be the Nature Boy Ric Flair.
That is incorrect.
What?
It would be the immortal Hulk Hogan.
That is correct, Shawn. Shawn gets a steal.
Oh, no.
All right, Travis, it is your question.
Yep.
Taking place at WrestleMania 21, who won the inaugural Money in the Bank ladder match?
That would have been Edge.
That is correct. All right, Shawn. As of today, what is the Undertaker's win-loss record at WrestleMania?
Carry the 3.
Mm,
Divide
trying to
by
think.
4.
All right. Your time is coming.
22-1.
That is incorrect. Mike, do you know what the Undertaker's win-loss record is at WrestleMania?
Move the decimal
Is
3
it-
spots.
Is it 21-1?
That is incorrect. Travis?
What'd you say?
21-1.
Isn't it that? No, it's 20-1.
He's wrestled 2 matches since he's lost, so he is 23 and 1.
23.
See, that's what I was trying to think. I'm like,
23.
he's either 23 or
I thought
22.
it was-
He
I
was
for-
21 and 0, and then he lost.
That's what I was trying to think of. What,
And then he
what he
wrestled
was when.
Bray
were the two?
Wyatt.
Oh, I forgot the Bray Wyatt match.
Yeah.
I think we all wanted to forget.
I
the
just
Bray
couldn't
Wyatt
remember
match.
where he was
And then
at when he
Shane.
lost to Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
All right, so nobody got that one. That was the best one so far. Next person's question number 6 would be Mike. What championship did John Cena and Big Show fight for at WrestleMania 20?
You better get this right because I got this right on the tip of my tongue.
Well, you can. That was my period. when I
What
wasn't
what
watching.
title belt? Okay, think about it. What championship did John Cena and Big Show fight for at WrestleMania
Spinner?
20?
Was it the spinner belt?
No. Flush him.
No.
Flush him.
Flush him.
Travis?
That would have been John Cena's first title, the United States Championship.
That is correct. The reason why I paused, because he did technically turn that into
He turned
a
it
spinner
into a
belt.
spinner. Well, he turned everything into a spinner.
So
At that
it
era,
was-
he was turning everything.
That's a half a
into
point, damn it.
well, but at that point it
Yes.
wasn't.
Flush him again.
He gives me a-
All right. Are you ready, Travis? Here's your official question.
Okay.
What future Hall of Famer
Yep.
faced Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 21?
21 would have been Eddie Guerrero. No?
That is incorrect.
Flush me.
Shawn, you know who Kurt Angle wrestled at
It's a
WrestleMania
lengthy flush.
21, a future Hall of Famer.
He's not in the Hall of Fame right now?
He is, yes.
He is in the Hall of Fame.
In the Hall
right?
of Fame.
I'm going to go out on a limb because I don't remember, but I want to say Shawn Michaels.
That is correct. Oh my gosh.
Really? Oh, it was Shawn Michaels. He's just a
I
sexy
knew they
Kurt.
because I knew they wrestled. I couldn't remember which one.
It's a
All
good
right,
feud.
Sean, are you ready for your next question?
Yes.
What was the match stipulation for Undertaker versus Mark Henry at WrestleMania 22? What type of match did Mark Henry and Undertaker compete in at WrestleMania 22?
Sexual Chocolate Factory.
I don't even remember.
Not even a guess?
It was stipulation.
It
Hell
has
in the
to-
Cell.
That is incorrect.
This is killing me.
Mike, do you know
Like
what
you said, I don't remember. I'm gonna take a guess.
stipulation?
I know what it wasn't.
Well,
I know it wasn't. Let's just say a tape ladder match.
a ladder match.
Undertaker and his bad knees.
No. I don't think Mark Henry's ever played a ladder. All right, Travis.
I don't
You
even
need
know.
this.
Mark Henry, Undertaker, what Mania?
22.
Mania 22.
I didn't even know they fought.
Was it
I
a
forgot.
casket match?
It was a casket match. Travis. Oh, man.
During the period, I just was not watching.
The champ is
All right, Mike.
here.
Are you ready for your final question? What type of match did Bret Hart and Mr. McMahon have at WrestleMania 26?
Really bad one.
That's right. No. There was 3 different stipulations to this match. So if you give me any of the 3 stipulations, I will give you the points.
I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna get it. It was an I quit match.
It was not, unfortunately. Travis, do you have a guess?
Getting tired of that toilet. I know it was for the. Oh God, I can't even remember. Wasn't it for if Brett won, he was the GM of Raw?
I don't know the stipulation, unfortunately.
I don't.
I believe that might have been it. I don't know,
I don't know.
but that was not the stipulation.
Was it a street
no.
fight?
Well, you already answered, but no, it's not a street fight.
Whatever. Flush me.
Sean,
Don't flush me.
I'm gonna say no holds bar match.
that is correct.
Ooh, great movie.
I just remember it was a horrible match with all the Hart family.
It was no holds barred. It was a lumberjack match, and there was a special guest referee, Bruce Hart. So if you gave me any of those 3, I would have gave you the
My
points.
God, what a cluster mess.
We have
I
a
don't even
tie.
Oh no.
Sean and Travis, you both have 4 points. Mike, you unfortunately did not get any points this week. Let's go to a tiebreaker question here. So no chance. Well, we'll do steal. So here's your tiebreaker question. We will go to Travis first.
Thank you.
What future Hall of Famer? Nope, I already asked that question. Who was Kurt Angle's opponent in his final WWE TV match before he jumped ship to TNA?
It was somebody really bad. I want to say it was it Elijah Burke?
That is incorrect. Sean, do you have a guess? His final televised match for WWE before going to TNA.
Can you tell me what year this was around?
2000.
It would be like 2006-ish.
2006.
John
Why am I
Cena?
helping you?
Incorrect.
It was
Unfortunately.
on the ECW.
It was ECW and is an ECW original.
Oh,
Sabu.
Really?
His last match was against Sabu.
That's bad.
All right, moving on to question number 2 of our bonus round. This one goes to Sean first. What was the first WWF championship to change hands at a WrestleMania? So you just got to tell me what belt.
the Intercontinental title.
That is incorrect. Travis?
Was it the women's championship?
It was not. Sean, did you think of it?
I was actually thinking it was.
It
the
was the
women's
tag team titles were the first
That would
belts
have
to
been
change
my
hands.
first guess.
Wait,
What did
when that happened in WrestleMania 1?
I don't know.
Doesn't well, just because I seem to remember that.
How many more bonus questions we have? One.
I have 3 more just in case.
Okay.
So,
Ooh,
okay.
thank
Travis,
Okay.
who was the only wrestler to hold a tag team championship with Hulk Hogan?
Savage.
Incorrect.
What?
That is incorrect.
What?
That is incorrect.
What
Shawn
happened with the
Michaels.
flushes?
Sean?
It's mighty quiet.
Unfortunately, that is also incorrect. Edge is the only person to hold a tag team title belt
Unforgivable.
with Hulk Hogan.
Get out of
All
my
right.
face.
Sean, this one's for you.
So tired of this.
What famous musical rap group performed at WrestleMania 5?
Run DMC.
That is correct.
God almighty. Does that make? Is it sudden death?
Do I want to give you a chance to tie it, and then we'll both give you a prize? All right. If you get this one right, Travis, we'll do a tie. You both get a prize. Who of the following was not defeated by The Undertaker at a WrestleMania event? So I'm going to give you 4 wrestlers. One of them was not defeated by him at WrestleMania. Was it King Kong Bundy, Ric Flair, Mankind, or Triple H?
I want to say it was Flair.
That is incorrect.
Can I guess
Was it
just for
Bundy?
the fun of it?
Yes, you can guess.
I'm going to say Mankind.
It was Mankind.
Really?
They have never wrestled at WrestleMania, unfortunately.
All right.
So Shawn is the big winner.
Woo!
All right. So, Shawn, I'm going to give you 3 different options for your
no.
prize. Are you more of an ECW fan, more of a 90s WWF fan, or more of a Bret Hart fan?
So vague.
90s WWE.
All right. Your prize this week is the best of WWE in your house.
Awesome.
All right.
So
I
you get
have
the
that.
DVD.
That's pretty awesome.
It's got all the best pay-per-views from the In Your House.
It's lit.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Congratulations.
All right.
thank you.
Can I see that real quick? Oh, what do we got on here?
It's got all the good matches.
It does.
wow.
Well, that does it for our show. Thanks for tuning in and listening to us talk about wrestling for the last hour or so.
Look at this. They got Stone Cold in handcuffs. Yeah. Made in Mexico, no less. Shouts out to Alberto El Patron.
Well, that's kind of racist.
Well, he was huge in whatever. Play us out of here before I offend somebody.
You can catch us on Twitter at Audio Suplex Live. Also on Facebook, you can catch me. I'm heel_Corey on Twitter.
X Dr. TX, and we will catch you
On the flip side.
later.
Hey guys, we would like to thank the band Wax for our intro and outro music. You can check them out at waxoh.bandcamp.com. You have been listening to the Nerd Complex Podcast Network.